Do you need some help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes,
So, okay.
Sure.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. You just have to text me the
Of course.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let's see. Do it.
Yes, if you do not
Okay, so fine. You're welcome.
סיימנו ב-21 לחודש.
למה אנחנו ב-21 לחודש? שים לב רק שאתה עושה את זה לפי הלו"ז החדש שמופיע שם. יש לו"ז חדש שתיק בלשים.
זה סיפור הזה?
כן.
יום 2? איפה אתה? אז אני אגע שם.
אתה יכול, כדאי אבל שתפתח, כדאי מאוד לפתוח בזמן, כי זה עובד לפי זמנים, יש 3 חדרים בזמנים.
יש לך פה אין לי את השינוי?
לא. אבל אולי כדאי שתפתח כי אנחנו כבר 11. אלא אם כן אתה...
אוקיי, ככה לכולו. בסדר? Good morning. We start at 11 exactly. My name is Ari. I'm a professor for marketing as well, and I'm delighted to ask Yossi Shavit to start his presentation. Contribution of entrepreneurship training services used in non-academic settings on promoting entrepreneurship among students from Ben-Gurion University of the Net.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Yossi Shavit, and I will present to you a research I conducted with Professor Shbitt. We're both from the Ben-Gurion University. It's a university in Israel. And I will start by telling you a little story about how we decided on the topic of this research. And it started 9 years ago when I started my master's degree. And in that time, I was a salaried employee in a very big hospital in Israel. And I was a shift manager with a very good job. And one of the decisions I had to make is what courses to take in this MBA degree. And I decided on taking 3 courses about entrepreneurship. And in one of these courses, I had to write a business plan. And after writing this business plan and being very pessimistic about this idea, I saw that this idea is very profitable and decided to start a business. And I got an approval from my professor that gave me the grade of 96. And then 5 years afterwards, I already started a business. 1 year afterwards, I started my second business. And these businesses are active these days. So it's a long time to work in this, of course, businesses. And what was very interesting is that I changed my life. I changed my career path just because 3 courses in the university. And 4 years afterwards, I got in touch with my professor that gave me the 96 and told her that I wanted to make a research about this idea. And this leads us to our presentation today. And the goal of the research that I conducted with Professor Shbitt was in order to examine the contribution of different non-academic entrepreneurship training services that offer to students in promotion of entrepreneurship. And we are talking about non-curricular paths that is given by entrepreneurship centers in institutions all around the world. And by promoting entrepreneurship, we're talking about 4 success criteria: the studying of a business, the perception of entrepreneurship as an occupational option, the knowledge and understanding in business areas, and the skill in work as a salaried employee and entrepreneurial employee in a big organization. when we look at the literature review, we can see that in the past 3 to 4 decades, there is increased interest in entrepreneurship. Many students believe that starting a company is an appealing alternative of being a salaried employee in a big organization. They also believe that entrepreneurship can be taught. And their belief is not only there, because many studies show that entrepreneurship can be taught, at least some aspect of it. And from that belief, and of course from the great demand of the students, we can see that there is a marked rise in entrepreneurship instruction in universities all around the world, in 2 main paths. The first one is the academic path, in which students can come and take courses, and the number of courses in all around the world is getting higher each year. And in the non-academic path, which we are talking in this presentation, which is given by entrepreneurship centers. They give courses, they teach the students how to write a business plan, they teach the students how to start his own business in a more practical way. So, as we could understand, the real question is not if entrepreneurship can be taught, because it can, as we could see in the last slide. But the real question is how to do it. And we can see that there are some common tools in the non-academic path that are being used by entrepreneurship centers all around the world. The most popular activity is courses. The student can come and take part in seminars, workshops, listen to guest speakers. The second and very important tool that made me start my own business is guidance in writing a business plan. And this is a very important tool because it helps the student deal with a complex and highly uncertain process, because when you write a business plan, there is a lot of uncertainty. You need to do a market research, you need to take a lot of very hard decisions, and this is a great tool if it's being used properly. Another uncommon tool is the individual guidance and mentoring, which is mostly given by consultants, accountants, executives that have a lot of knowledge and experience. And it's not a common tool because it's a very expensive one, but usually it have the ability to really help the student understand how to promote his idea, what is the true meaning of starting a business. Because many of the students don't really know what is the true meaning, how much money and time they're supposed to invest, and if it fits them in the positions they are taking right now as students. The literature review also shows us criteria of success in promoting of entrepreneurship in the non-academic settings. And we can see that one of the most common criteria is starting a business. As we can always expect, students that took part in entrepreneurship programs will probably have high chances of starting a business as opposed to students who didn't take this kind of programs. And another important thing that even if they didn't start a business, they are most likely to have higher chances of planning to start a business in their life. And another success criteria is the perception of entrepreneurship as an occupational option, and by this we're trying to explain to students what is the true meaning of becoming an entrepreneur. And even if we make him change his mind regarding to entrepreneurship and let him understand that it doesn't fit him, it's also a success because he won't start a business and then understand that it's not good for him. Another success criteria is knowledge and understanding in entrepreneurship areas or business areas, and this is very important because the students, as I said before, don't really have a lot of experience, they don't have a lot of knowledge, they don't have a lot of data regarding to entrepreneurship. They have some ideas, Most of the time, they don't have friends or relatives that started a business. So it's all ideas, and courses, and writing a business plan helps them understand the meanings, the lingo, and all the other things that being taught in those courses. The less uncommon way to find out if there was an impact is the contribution of the worker as a salaried employee. We can see that many studies showed that entrepreneurial knowledge is an integral part of work life, and many researchers believe that the role of academic institution is to help the student understand how to become more entrepreneurial in the big organizations that he is working in. So entrepreneurship can work as in starting a business, but also in a big organization as a salaried employee. In our research, we believe that each and every tool has its own characteristics, and each characteristic will have a different impact on the success criteria that we are trying to check. And we found 5 characteristics for these tools. The first one is if the tool is focusing on the student's idea. Many of the students come with an idea, with a dream, and it's really important to understand if this tool is dealing with this dream or is more general. The second one is if the tool is being given individually to the student or as a group, and how much time and money the student is supposed to invest, and if the student is supposed to be active. So as we can see, each and every tool has its own characteristics, and we believe that proper characterization will lead to an increase in the odds of success in promoting entrepreneurship. Okay, this will help us to make better programs for entrepreneurship in the non-academic settings. So the research hypothesis is that the tools with various characteristics will each contribute differently on various ways of examining promotion of entrepreneurship. We try to find out what is the impact of each tool on each success criteria. And this leads us to the secondary hypothesis. The first one deals with the business plan writing. The business plan writing is more focused on the student's idea. The student is supposed to be very active and invest a lot of time. And because of that, we believe that it will be the most important contributor to all kinds of success criteria that we are trying to check. The second hypothesis is talking about the lectures. The lectures is more general. It's being given for students as a group. The students is more passive. You sit, you hear, just like you are doing right now. You are a bit passive. You are trying to understand what am I talking about, but you don't supposed to be very active, to go, to search, to find some data. And because of that, we believe that it's also will have a very good impact, but not the highest one, on all success criteria, and especially on the knowledge and understanding regarding to business area and the establishment of new businesses. The third hypothesis talk about one-time consultation meeting, which is more focused, of course, in the student's idea. He's supposed to be active, but he don't supposed to invest a lot of time. And in this particular tool, the student is not only talking about his idea, but when he sits and talk to the business consultant, he can understand what is the true meaning of promoting the ideas that he came with. So this helps him understand if it suits him to carry on with this idea or this dream. The fourth hypothesis was that the use of several contributors, several tools. Sorry, this is the first time that I'm presenting in English. So
Very well.
thank you very much. So the use of several tools will contribute to the odds of success on promoting entrepreneurship, and because of each and every tool has its own characteristics, and all of them together will lead to a higher impact. Our independent variables included 3 assistant methods. The first one was the guidance in writing a business plan, which was given individually when a business consultant helped student write his own business plan. It took between 1 to 2 months. And after submitting the business plan, the business consultant gave the students front-end written feedback about his business plan. The second tool was lecture and workshops on 2 main topics. The first one was how to write a business plan and specific management topics like finance, marketing, starting a business. And the third one was individual guidance and mentoring, in which the students could decide to take one-time consultation with an expert or business mentoring for up to 20 hours. We also used another very important variable in order to, about the level of the use of services. If the student used more services, we tried to find out if there was a higher impact on the success criteria, and we used a scale of 0 to 5. 0 didn't use any of the services, and 5 used all the services. And it's important to say that the students had the ability to decide in which tools to use. It wasn't mandatory. The uniqueness of this research is in fact that in one sample group we're trying to find out what is the impact of 3 tools on 4 success criteria. In previous studies, in most of the previous studies, they checked just one tool in one sample group and how it's and what is the impact of this tool on just one success criteria. Our research population includes students that have interest in entrepreneurship and come to get an assistant in entrepreneurship center in the non-academic settings. The sample included 247 students that came for an initial meeting of half an hour with a business consultant. They came from all degrees and departments, not only from management or engineering, and they got the tools from Center of Business Development, which is a governmental center, and they could, as I said, use any tools that they want. The control group included 75 students that used only the initial meeting, in which they talk about their idea and got some data regarding to all the tools, and the research group included the use of the additional services. Our research tool included a demographic questionnaire, which is 247 participants, that included the area of activity before the assistance was received, and then we used an internet questionnaire after the assistance was received, followed by a telephone survey in which we can understand if the student started a business 1 year after he used the tools. When we look at the general distribution of the sample, we can see that the students were in the average age of 28, 77% of them were male. The breakdown by the degree is showing relatively slight distribution at the university. The sample is similar to the distribution of the university, when 70% of the students are in the bachelor's degree, a quarter is in their master's degree, and the PhD students are 5% of the sample. 84% of the students came from engineering and management, and it's not surprising because those students in previous studies show a lot more interest in entrepreneurship than in other departments. When we look at the breakdown of the area of activity in what ideas the students had, we can see that most of them come with high-tech and service ideas, 87% of them. And when we look at the total use of the services, we can see a relatively low use of individual guidance, but relatively more use of lectures and guidance on writing a business plan. The general contribution of the success criteria shows that in regards to the establishment of a new business, there is 2 main groups. The first one we call the group of the founders. 74% of the students started a business or said they are planning to start a business in the immediate term, 1 year after they use the services. And 50% of the students said that starting a business is irrelevant for them, or they don't know if to start a business. And we believe that this group is of students that had an idea and decided to leave this idea because they understood how much they're supposed to invest, and they understood that it's not suiting for them. And maybe many other students came and didn't have an idea or didn't want to promote any entrepreneurship, but they did want to understand what it's meaning to become an entrepreneur, and this was the second group. In regards to the other success criteria, we can see that there were very high rating of the program. 84% of the students said that they had at least a medium impact regarding the perception of entrepreneurship as an occupational option and the knowledge and understanding, and 72% say that it helped them with the skill in working as a salaried employee. Of course, it had a medium impact at least. When you use the t-test in order to find out what is the contribution of the tools on the success criteria, in regards to starting a business, you can see that lecturing specific management topics and guidance in writing a business plan had a positive and significant impact. In regards to the perception of entrepreneurship as an occupational option, we can see that all the tools have a positive and significant impact, excluding the business mentoring. In regards to the level of knowledge and understanding in business fields, we can see that the lecture and the business plan writing had a positive and significant impact. And in regards to the skills in work as a salaried employee, we can see that business mentoring and guidance in writing a business plan had a very good and positive impact. And in all of the cases, we can see that the writing of a business plan has a positive and significant impact, and it's the highest of all. This table summarizes all the data. Okay. This table summarizes all the data that we got, and we can see that each and every tool has a different impact on each and every other success criteria. And this leads us to understand that about our first hypothesis regarding to the business plan, it was the most important contributor. It had an impact on all the success criteria, and because of that, this hypothesis was confirmed. The second hypothesis regarding the lecture and workshops shows that in almost all the success criteria there was an impact, but it wasn't the highest, and the most important impact was in knowledge and understanding and establishment of business. The third hypothesis talked about the business consultation, and we can understand that it had an effect on the perception of entrepreneurship, and because of that, it's also confirmed. We use the Pearson correlation in order to find out if there is a correlation between the use of several methods and the success criteria. And although it didn't show a very strong relationship, we can see that in all the success criteria there was a significant and positive impact. And this leads us to understand that the key hypothesis was confirmed. The tools with various characteristics had a different impact on various ways of examining promotion of entrepreneurship.
Which makes sense.
But it leads us to the conclusions that we can draw from these findings. And the main conclusion is that when we design a framework of teaching entrepreneurship in non-academic settings, we need to ask ourselves four main questions. The first one is, how is success defined? What is the goal of the program? Because if the goal is to start a business, it's very different from a goal of changing the perception of the student's idea regarding to entrepreneurship or his knowledge. And the second thing is to find out what is the best characteristics of the tools that we will use in order to get this goal. Okay? If the tool is supposed to be focused on the student's idea, or if the students come with no idea at all and just want to learn about entrepreneurship. Afterwards, we need to take these characteristics that we decide on and define the assistant methods that we will use and the combination of these tools in order to get this goal. And the final question is how to screen, how to make a screening process that will lead us to the place in which the students have the same goals as the program, and we need to find out if the student is ready to take on himself tools that have those characteristics that we decided upon. For example, if the characteristics of the tools supposed to be to make the students invest more time, he's supposed to want to do so. Thank you for your time, and I hope you understand everything.
Any questions? Any questions?
Have you followed some of the students as to their success or failure, and how long it took, and what were the reasonings behind any failures that occurred? And
this is a very important question, because when we are trying to understand how to check what was the impact, we had only 4 success criteria. For example, if you start a business, it doesn't mean that you are starting a business that will work for many times, for a long time. But this research was conducted by data up to 2010, and then...
so it's kind of ongoing?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process.
Okay, thank you.
On the personal level, you mentioned 2 businesses of your own. What is the nature of the business?
Well, the first business is very interesting. It's a business in Moldova of producing cotton. My wife comes from Moldova, and a trip to her country, I understood that there is a very big problem in this place. And then we bought some machines and started this business. And the second one is a business consultancy services, in which I and some of my employees are giving lectures and giving business consulting services to mostly people in their initial stages of the business.
Wonderful. Give him a big hand. Thank you very much. And the second presenter will be